Hi, we're here with George DeMarco, the ESX Chair. Thanks for spending some time with us, George.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
So the security industry is going through a lot of changes, and we're seeing a lot of interactive services being offered. What do you see that presenting challenges or opportunities for integration and monitoring companies?
First of all, since about 2000, you have seen a lot of companies start coming out with some great new technology. And the new technology is only as good as what people are used to using, how they're using it.
Right.
And with the advent of apps, which can be used on smartphones, because smartphones is really what really generated a lot of this kind of, I'll call it an evolution or revolution within the security industry. And the tablets too, obviously. But everybody that's using this technology is now expecting apps that's going to make their life just a little bit more easy to manage.
Right, absolutely.
And I think the security industry has actually grown up in the last so many years from the standpoint of instead of it being a passive relationship with their customers, it's more of an active relationship where the customer has more control over what they're doing. So the opportunity is huge because it allows you to go back to your customer base or even to new customers and give them something that resonates with them a little more. The challenges are to make sure that you are on that bleeding edge, or I shouldn't say bleeding edge, but you're on that edge that allows your company to offer those best of class services, interactive services, to make sure that all your staff is up to date on all this technology. And keeping up on all the technology is kind of a challenge too, because technology is moving so quickly right now that what you might think is current today is going to be outdated tomorrow. So a lot of leaders have to make those right choices in what they're going to offer their customers.
Right. That's a really interesting point you made. Rather than just coming to a customer and saying, hey, these are the services we offer, this is what we do you want to jump on board? We're now seeing this, what are you doing and how are you interacting, how are you communicating? Let us do that in the same fashion. And you're absolutely right, once you start on that pathway, there's really no going back, so you really need to stay up to date with those things.
Yeah, and customers are expecting more now.
Right,
because they're more aware. So when the first fax machine came out, people didn't know to ask for the fax machine, but they knew what features they wanted as that technology was developed.
Right.
Now the same thing's happening with this technology that's being used right now.
Right. We're also seeing a lot of telecom companies, and we're seeing more home automation rather than just them emerging into the industry and offering security services. Where do you think the threats and opportunities lie there for integration and monitoring companies?
Well, that's a very interesting question. The threat is from competition has always been there and always will be there, whether it's a telecommunications company or a cable company. It doesn't really matter. Or it's your competitor right down the street who's been in business within the 1 industry for 20 years. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is, are you willing to step up to make sure that you bring your company up to a level where it's going to develop a really huge customer experience, where it's going to resonate with that customer. So I choose to be with your company, as opposed to being the other way around. So I think that the challenge is always competition, but I think what's going to also happen too, that the telecoms, the cable companies, they're going to bring more of an awareness into the industry that's going to say, wow, these folks are bring this to the customer base. It must be something really to this. Where the threat comes in is, at least for me, it's from those companies that we don't know are going to be coming into the industry. So we know who the telecoms are. We kind of know who the cable companies are that are here.
Right.
But I believe that somewhere down the road, there could be an Apple or a Google or a Facebook or something down the road that comes and starts, affecting them.
Right.
On the other hand, too, I think that there's another play. It's the do-it-yourself market, and that do-it-yourself market is coming at us from like a Home Depot or Lowe's. They're introducing new systems into the do-it-yourself market, and these are self-monitored systems.
Yeah.
The good news is I think that there is an opportunity for professional installed models and do-it-yourself models.
Right.
There's enough of a market for everybody to play in there.
Right.
I just think that we really need to be focused on that. And I think that alarm dealers can look at professionally installed models as well as a do-it-yourself, which I will call, let's say, instead of it being self-monitored, maybe self-managed systems. So you're going to have a certain customer base that will want to buy a professionally installed model.
Right.
And maybe your customer base, there's another percentage of customer base that wants self-managed systems.
How much traction do you see that really having, the do-it-yourself security systems?
I think, as with all technology, technology or the next level of technology is always finding a better method to do something.
Right.
I think it's easier and easier now for people to install systems, whether it's security systems or computers or networks or whatnot. So I think there's an impact, maybe not with the generation my age, but maybe the generations that are coming up are born into technology, and this is so easy for them to do. And I think it's going to resonate with them even more so. So I think there will be an impact. I don't know what exactly that impact's going to be, but there will be definitely an impact.
Okay. And how can the mom and pop security company compete with a Lowe's do-it-yourselfer, or even a Comcast, or another telco company? I mean, how do they differentiate their services with something Comcast is rolling out?
I firmly believe it's always about the customer experience.
Right.
Every company needs to focus on the ease of doing business with you, as whatever you're offering, whether it's home control, security, networking, whatever you're offering, you want to make sure that experience is as wonderful as possible for that customer. And that's where the stickiness comes in, because people don't leave companies that provide great service.
Absolutely. Right. So if you could just give me a quick bit of business advice, the best business advice you've ever received.
Well, there was a couple of things. One of the first things I always remembered was, especially with the security business, it's a people business. So you always need to focus on hiring the right person. It's not necessarily the best person, but you want to hire the right person. And I think that if you hire that right person, which actually equates into the right team, I think that just naturally is going to help your company to succeed, because those people want to be successful. They want to work for a successful company.
Right.
And when you give them that environment, that culture, you develop that, then that's what they want to be. And a good example would be Zappos, which is the shoe company, right?
Right.
If I said that right.
Oh no, I don't know about shoes.
Yeah,
No.
you don't know much shoes, do you? But they just offer such an incredible culture that people want to work there.
Right.
And it's tremendous. I think our industry, it's all about people, and you want to make sure that you're focusing on people. Because I always equate companies, development of companies, it's like being a three-legged stool. So we have the customer, and we have the employee, and the company. It's like a three-legged stool. So if any one of those legs breaks or falters, it's going to impact one of the either the employee, the company, or the customer. So it's very important there. And another huge business advice that I heard was never be afraid to sell your business when it's the right time.
So I have a stack of resumes on my desk. How do I know who the right person is?
I think a lot of times, one of the good things about running a successful company is a lot of times your employees that are inside that company, you get a lot of recommendations from employees.
Right.
So your good referral are going to come from your employees, because employees want to work with other really good employees.
Right.
You don't want to bring somebody in that's not so good. But with that being said, that's really going to help you. And I think what you do is you have to have a team within your organization that is on that hiring team. And you have different departments that will help in that interview process. And you have a scorecard, or you have some way of measuring how somebody's going to be successful or not be successful.
Right.
I think it's a team effort. You shouldn't be just to one person in the organization.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us. Your insight is always great. Thanks, George.
Thank you. It's always fun to be here.